So, hello everybody. Welcome at Fashion for Good Museum, the world's first museum about sustainable fashion. Thank you all for joining here in person, and thank you all for joining digitally at home. So, welcome at this masterclass, Designing with Nature, where we have as our speakers today, Lisi and Rushemy, which will be on the screen in a bit. Not only are they the creative directors of Butter and of Nina Ricci, they are also our jury members for the Grow Talent project. This is a project that we started last month, and where we are collaboratively co-creating a new exhibition, which will be seen in October, together with 6 super creative talents. So stay tuned. So back to the masterclass. This one will be moderated by Fiona Hering. Super honored to have her. So yeah, take it away.
Okay. Well, thank you, Sophie. We are certainly more than happy to have this pioneering design duo for one hour for ourselves, especially considering that show season is coming and that you probably will have an incredible schedule. We have about 20 people in the room, and there's a lot more people joining us online from all over the globe. So let's start immediately, because I have a lot of questions, and people here probably have a lot of questions too. So welcome. You're joining us from Vinkenveen.
Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Oh. Yes.
Sorry, you're joining us from Vinkenveen, which is a small place close to Amsterdam, about 30 minutes. Do you live there?
Yes.
Yes, we also have a house here, yeah.
You're holidaying right now?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that's great. Have you been living in Paris since your appointment for Nina Ricci?
Yes, we moved directly to Paris, actually.
Yeah, that was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, did you find a home immediately? Did you have to go all of a sudden?
Yeah, it was quite suddenly, it was all very fast, but it was quite okay to find a house, because it was during like the month of August, so that was quite a good time to find a place. And
but we also had to move our company Butter at the same time, so it was quite a hectic period.
Okay, and how's your French?
Un petit peu.
We understand everything, yeah. But speaking
just the basic.
Yeah, the fashion basics.
You probably always work with an international crew.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you have lessons?
No.
No, not really. It was hard to plan it. No, we really want to plan it, but when we arrived at Nina, we had so much to learn, because we just graduated from the academy, we just started our brand, and it was a lot. So it was more learning from people while speaking it.
Okay. And is it correct that you divide your time between Paris, Santo Domingo, Curaçao, and Vinkenveen?
Yes, exactly.
Yes? And how does that work?
Yeah, most of the time is divided in between the Netherlands and Paris.
And Antwerp.
And Antwerp, yeah. And yeah.
And the Paris and the Santo Domingo part is more after the shows, this period when you have to take a bit of time for yourself, and we see this as relaxing time because our families are there, and also you get a lot of inspiration. So it's just fueling up.
But how do you do it design-wise? Because I guess your teams are based in Paris, both of the teams, or not?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So we work 2 days a week at Nina Ricci and the rest of the week at Butter. And on both places we indeed have like a team. At Nina it's a bit bigger than at Butter, of course. But yeah, Rushemy still designs everything himself, sketches everything.
Sketches all the silhouettes.
So
and this we just have this dialogue with the team, and we do this on Monday and Tuesday. So all the meetings are planned on this Monday and Tuesday, and we then have this, how do you say that? This energetic 2 days, full of meetings.
Are the teams completely divided? I mean, there's no overlapping with people?
No, there's no overlapping.
That's not allowed, or would you like to have that, or is it easier when it's divided?
I think it works for us when it's divided. Because also I think for us it's important that both teams have both different mindsets, you know. I mean, Botter is a very different story than Nina Ricci. At Nina Ricci, we are respecting also like the heritage of the house, and you know, it's our interpretation of the house. And Botter is really like our baby that we started from the very beginning. So it's like it's our creation. So it's very important for us to have people in different mindsets.
Is it difficult for you to switch, like 2 days there and then 2 days somewhere else?
In the beginning, it might have been difficult, yes, but over for me over time.
Yeah, exactly. It might have been difficult in the beginning, but it's somehow we were thrown into the deep, you know, and somehow it's also surviving, and you're doing what you do the most, you know. You're designing, you're creating, and you're working together with a big team to share this vision.
Okay. You both grew up in the Caribbean. Oh, 1 second. You probably hear this as well.
Yeah.
We're in the middle of the center.
Feels like Paris.
And the windows are open. Okay.
Okay.
So you both grew up in the Caribbean, at Curaçao and in Santo Domingo, and Lisi partly. How does that influence your design aesthetic?
It influences it a lot. Yeah, it really makes you, I don't know, if for me personally, it makes me look at things very differently, you know. I think we have different influences because the biggest part where I grew up was in Holland. But for example, I got all the cultural teachings from my mother and from my family, and, you know, from visiting family, etc. So there's I love the fact that I feel like I look at things very differently and with mixed eyes and more openly somehow.
More in a modern way, no?
Yeah.
Because everything is mixed now, I think.
And Rushemy, you once told me that the Caribbean culture is full of show and pride. And that students like who come over to Holland to get a better future but fail, they start to mask their financial problems by show off. And then you mentioned like an example, like a sweater wearing in a jeans to show your Gucci belt, or if you have 2 pair of Prada shoes, then wear one of each, preferably in different colors.
Yes.
Are that examples that inspire you, and do you have other examples?
Yes, that inspired me a lot, because what inspires me there is you now see it more often because we spoke about it, but I like to see people like to see that in a negative way. It's something ugly, it's a show of culture, you know, but it's also really proud, and it's really they just show their pride. And for me, it's like seeing beauty in something that might look kitsch or show off or ugly.
Yeah, something that's considered ugly, I think.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. That triggers for us, like the eye and the way you look at things, you know. It's because what does make something ugly, you know, it's a very personal perception of things, and we like to play with that and bend that, and yeah, that's something that we've been very interested in since the very beginning.
During the last few years, there's a growing attention for creatives from that corner of the world. Today, an exposition opens at Bookshop Mendo from Caribbean-born photographer Denise Ariana Perez. Darwin Winkler, probably you know, from Aruba. He recently won Lichting, the prize for Best Fashion Graduate. And Guillaume Trapenberg, a photographer from Curaçao, had a big expo in Photo Museum Foam.
Yeah.
Do you have an explanation for this? Is there an overall feeling or a sensitivity or aesthetic that binds you?
That's a really good question.
What can you rephrase the question? Sorry,
Okay.
I didn't.
It's very long.
No, just the end. Just the end part.
I mentioned some names, but during the last few years, there's growing attention for creatives from that part of the corner. So I was wondering, why is that? Do you have an explanation for it?
Yeah, I don't know, but I think, you know, it's more. It's also what you see now. You know, maybe what's highlighted now is the part of the Caribbean. You see all the Dominican models. So I think it's just it's almost like this fashion. How do you say? It's a moment, like a fashion trend, you know, and for me, I like to use it, and for example, for Guillaume Trappenberg, you know, it's beautiful that we can show the beauty of our Caribbean island, and that there's a light now on the fashion is showing a light on it, and it's I don't have explanation for it, but I think we can now we can use it and really show not only the touristic side of it.
It shouldn't be like it shouldn't be like a momentum that fades, you know.
Exactly. And you
No.
also have you always have these fashion trends, you know. First it was the Russian models, you know, and the Asian, and now you have a lot of Dominican models. So I think it has something to do with this.
Okay. Do you think fashion from that corner of the world has long been regarded as not interesting, or maybe too bold, or because everything in Europe was very minimalistic?
Yeah.
I think it was not even considered fashion, you know.
Exactly.
I think the aesthetics from there was not considered as tasteful, and yeah, I think that's definitely something that's been a battle, you know, to find like the balance of it. And
okay, people are more open for it now, maybe after all these minimalistic years. Happily, I'm not very minimalistic, so I'm really happy. Is machismo, that is obviously alive in the Caribbean, also a topic that plays a role in your designs for Botter?
Sorry, can you?
Machismo, yes, it does. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, in what way?
It's and even the machismo is it's also in a different way that we see, or that the Western people see, you know, because the machismo goes hand in hand with taking care of themselves, you know, and taking care of themselves. I mean, with they maybe can even stand in a mirror in front of the mirror more than a woman does, you know. They take care of the eyebrows, they take care of the nails, they have the nail polish, they have the shiny lips, you know. It's machismo in a really almost, I don't know how to explain, but maybe in a more feminine way. Mm-hmm. And it goes hand in hand with showing off the jewelry and everything, you know. So it plays, a big part in our aesthetics at Botter.
Yeah. How do you see the future of menswear? It's a big question, but
I think I see it very bright. I think menswear has changed a lot. Mm-hmm. And I think it's not finished developing. You know, I think there's so much more to explore. And
go on. I think it changed in a really positive way. You know, even if you look at the hip hop culture, it's really machismo culture. You know, and what you see there, that everybody can wear and express, can wear everything that they want, express who they are. You can wear crop tops, you can wear anything that you want, and I think, and it's really nice to see. It's almost like that that there are no subcultures anymore. You know, everybody's wearing everything, and I think that's beautiful about menswear.
Okay, you once said you want to design meaningful garments. What exactly do you mean by that?
Yeah. Okay, with meaningful, I mean like, and especially.
We definitely we strive for making garments that last, you know, that you want to wear for a long time, that you want to collect, and also that are part of a story. So this is something that we have been working on for quite a while, you know, at Botter, because we're working on our underwater coral nursery. And for example, we're partnering up with Parley for our materials, who, you know, they collect plastic from the oceans, and they make fabrics and yarns that we can use. And so it's a very complex story, you know. It's like, what is a meaningful garment? Is a meaningful garment something that you want to, you know, as a consumer buy into, you know, be part of a story, be part of making the world a bit better? Because I feel like people right now, they want to express themselves, and through garments, you know, especially the youth, they want to communicate who they are and what they stand for. And this is such a beautiful way to do it. And if we can deliver that through garments, you know, to tell our story and tell something about the environment and what we stand for. And for us, this is really creating a meaningful garment.
the ocean, like you mentioned it already, is an endless central source of inspiration for your collections. Can you explain how this started? This love for the ocean?
Yeah, it started actually. It started from it. Yeah, it was there from the very beginning. I think it goes much deeper than making our first collection and deciding that it's based on the ocean. It's not like that. It's really us. It goes very deep for us, because we as people we visited our family, in the Caribbean. Rushemy was there, raised there, part of his youth. So, while being on an island, you're so attached to the water, and the water, is such an inspiration of, not inspiration, but an important thing to the island. It's something that brings money to the people from the island, food, protection at the same time, but also in many ways healing, so the water is such a special and, how do you say, deep thing that that we carried through our youth into our grown-up lives. And so it's a story that we want to tell through our creativity. So that's, yeah, a little bit how it grows.
Okay, the declining health of underwater ecosystems is a big concern of yours.
Yeah.
And you do what you can in order to preserve them. And what exactly, you mentioned it earlier, what exactly is the Botter Coral Nursery?
So this is an underwater nursery. So yeah, it's a bit difficult to explain when you don't have like images of it. But we partnered up with a small local diving company on Curaçao. And basically, what we do is we build branches. So it's a branch. You can see it like almost as an empty tree, and it's placed on the water, like in the open water. And you can save like pieces of coral that broke, or that are
Damaged or
damaged.
bleached.
Yeah, damaged or bleached, and then you hang them on the branch. And then because they are in the middle of the water, they get all the nutrition from the water they need, and they grow and they grow fast, and they come to life much faster. So when they have like a certain centimeter, they get placed back into the natural environment, and there they keep on growing. So it's really about saving those pieces that are dying, bleaching, and take care of it almost like it's a baby, and it's so important.
But did you start the nursery, or are you financing them and other people are doing?
So we started it with the diving company. And so yeah, we are of course here, they are there. That's why we are partnering up with them. They are taking care of nurturing the coral, and we are creating this circular system with our collection. That there's of course a percentage of the collection made from the ocean waste plastic, and the proceedings from those garments go directly to the nursery.
So what it is that. Because the question that you already asked, and it's almost like this, that people, when they buy a garment at Botter, it's meaningful, because you're almost like helping to preserve the coral reef. So this is something we want to grow we want to grow bigger and make it even bigger. And I think it's something that people also want. They want meaning behind garments, and the customer, and we don't even see the people as customers, but they're not stupid anymore, and I think that's a good thing, Yeah,
and I feel like the consumer nowadays is not interested in, buying this silk shirt or something that's expensive because it's expensive. I think people want to be part of a story of not only a story but a meaningful story, and be proud of what they're wearing and be able to talk about it, and and through those garments show other people who they are.
Are you fanatic divers yourself?
Yes, I am. You still have to learn it, no?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so well, you're designing for two different brands. But we were already talking about separating the design process, but what is your starting point for the collection? I know some of the young designers here would love to know. How do you work?
Yeah, it's always different, no? The starting
Yeah.
point is never the same.
It's really organically the way we work. It's always what we have is like we always have this small dummy. It's like a little book that we fill up with everything that inspires us. It can be like things we find on the street. It can be pictures we take, sketches, everything, and it fills and it piles up. And at one point, the concept is already there, you know, because at one point you start building something, you start building a storyline, and there's a concept, and you start pulling everything that fits the concept. You start pulling it your way, and from there on, I start sketching the silhouettes, and it's like really, yeah, that's the way we work, you know, because we were taught in the academy. You start sketching everything out, and accessories, everything you see it in front of you, and then Lisi starts making collage to find shapes, to find color, and
To find also a bit of clash sometimes, you know, because
exactly.
through collage, it's a very fast way of creating like either a silhouette or a clash between, you know, something that's old and something that's new, and you can see a result very easily and very fast. And you know, next to those sketches, it's very important to get you know, to a very visual and 3D proposition. That's how we work very efficiently.
Yeah, and the tasks are divided. Is it like Rushemy is drawing and you are the pattern genius, aren't you?
Yeah, well,
Yeah, she is. I can tell. It's hard to tell for myself, you know, but I can tell. Yeah.
But it always
Yeah.
starts. It always starts with moulage.
it not always, you know. Sometimes
Okay.
it starts with something very tailored, you know, which is always like for me it starts flat in 2D, and yeah, it depends. It's really different.
How is it to work 24/7 together? I mean, I guess two designers on one pillow can be daring sometimes.
On one pillow, yeah.
But I think why it works so well is that we respect each other, and what I think we respect each other and what we're good at, you know. And
And I think also what's key is that we can be brutally honest to each other, you know, even if it might hurt at some point. But if I ask her, you know, she's the only one I can ask her, what do you think of this, you know, and I will get an honest answer. And if I ask it to someone else, they will always tell me it's nice, you know. And that's another way to move on or to go out of your comfort zone. I think we really keep each other on our toes.
yeah,
Who wins most of the discussions?
Rushemy.
I think I win. She's smart. She thinks that.
And soon there will be arriving a third family member. So
Yes.
congratulations. Have
Yeah,
you?
thank you.
I mean,
Thank you so much.
I don't know when the baby is due or when you want to say it.
In
But
2
is it
weeks, so it's quite.
really? Oh my God!
Yeah.
So that's almost in show season, or
I
not?
know.
Exactly, it's
Yeah,
gonna
I
be a
know.
fashion baby.
Yeah,
That's a hectic, hectic planning as well.
yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Yeah, it's gonna be
I-
super hectic. So we need a good organization. So I'm trying to do everything I can now together with Rushemy beforehand. You know, because that's also a bit my problem. I'm a bit of a control freak. So you know, at one point, I don't know. It's due end of August. So yeah, but you never know. And then yeah,
Then we'll see.
you're on your own.
It all comes naturally. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't really prepare for it.
No,
Um,
exactly.
So let's talk about your last collections, starting with Butter. Can you explain something about the advertising campaign? It was shot in Ciudad Colonial in Santo Domingo.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is something. This is something that we actually. It's not. That was not the campaign, no. This is something actually we wanted to shoot because we thought it was so like the environment of Santo Domingo is so rough and beautiful, and people see it. You know, you walk past it, or you don't notice like the details, the crackings of the walls, the colors of the walls, and sometimes also the genius way of how they work with material. Yeah, reinvent materials. For example, like one of the pictures you see, like the water bottle that's transformed into a lamp, you know. Yeah. And for us, this is, we just needed to, we need to capture these kind of things and really show it in a almost minimalist way for, I feel like, for people to really see it and appreciate it.
And and what's also, I think what's important also, we want to show the beauty of Santo Domingo through our eyes, I think, and not in a touristic way. You know what I mean? Not in the way of the people, what people think of Santo Domingo.
Yeah. Tell us something about the genius wool crepe suit with blue recycled plastic gun-tacked embroidery. Who came up with this idea? I think it's fantastic.
I think, and that idea was born, I think, in met de markt ook weer? Amsterdam markt. Oh, het is toch wel. Yeah, it was born in Albert Kuip markt, and
really?
we were, yeah.
So inspiring, always.
So it's when we lived in Antwerp, we were always coming back every weekend to go to the Albert Kuip markt and to get some fabrics. And
really, you come back from Paris to the Albert Kuip markt?
No, when we were living in Antwerp, it was before Paris.
Okay, yeah.
So we were driving back almost every weekend to come back to the Albert Kuip markt, and we were passing like the street behind the Albert Kuip markt. And there were like things thrown out of a store on the back, and there was like these full of boxes, and one of these boxes had a lot of little boxes full of these plastic tags, and I wanted to pick it up immediately, and Lisi said no, it's trash, and we had this discussion there. So I picked it up and took it, and for me it was like a way almost to where you say really flat, to reuse something, the plastic that we found on the street, and use it like in our way of embroidery, like we name it as Caribbean Couture. So the way we see it, and it's almost like this over-consuming this message that you can tell, you know, because with every shirt you consume like this, you have this little plastic ugly tag, you know, and I wanted to show it in a more, let's say, elevated way.
Okay. So normally it's the thing that you cut off.
The first thing you cut off, yeah.
It's also, it's not associated with luxury, you know, because normally like with luxury garments, you have like this beautiful hang tag, and there's, you don't see those kind of gun tag pins. And we thought it was very interesting to also like approach it like in a very repetitive way, you know, in a check, and see how it would look like in different color and very elevated, to see how it looks if it's like an, for example, in our eyes, an embroidery.
And tell me something about the upcycled umbrella Windbreaker.
Oh yeah, this is a collaboration it's an ongoing collaboration that we'll keep on collaborating with for the future with Pigagnol. It's like a very old French umbrella factory. And they're very known for their umbrellas in the streets. They hang it like in the shopping malls. I don't know if you have ever seen it. On top of the streets, you have like thousands of umbrellas. So we contacted them to see like what they actually do with the umbrellas, and we were very shocked to know that they just never use them again. You know, they throw them away. So we asked them if they would be open, like to collaborate, and so now it's like an ongoing project. So we upcycle those umbrellas, and they're very beautiful. You know, they come ugly and stained, but we have to clean them, of course. But the beautiful thing is that the colors are super bleached, depending on where they were hanging, and every umbrella has their own story, and we think it's very beautiful. And we work with the triangles, and we respect the triangles, and from that we try to make like jackets, but tops and trousers at a point. And so yeah, we think it's very interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. And I'm obsessed with the necklaces made from Japanese fish bait. They're fantastic. I mean, where did you find them? Did you go to Japan yourself?
Yeah.
Yes, this was something I think 1.5 years ago, we made a business trip with Nina Ricci. We went to Japan to see like the buyers and to talk with the interviewers there, with the journalists. And we were going to this Evisu store because I always want to visit the store there. And we went in and we saw all these lures, you know, these handcrafted lures made from wood. And we found them really inspiring. And when we came back, we contacted the owner of the company. And the owner is also the inventor of the Evisu jeans. And it was really hard to get in contact with him.
Yeah, because it's something that he does for a hobby. So it's an extra company that he started because he has like this crazy fish hobby. And those fishing lures are so like detailed and so beautiful that we just thought like, wow, it's almost art on its own, you know. And yeah, so it took us a very long time to get in contact with him, and we proposed like what we wanted to do with those fish baits. And yeah, he got immediately very enthusiastic, and that's how we started off. You know, we received the fish baits from him, and then we designed like the jewelry around it in Italy. And yeah, we're very proud of those pieces actually.
Yeah, they're beautiful. Well, there's a lot of famous people wearing your clothes. I saw a post of Billie Eilish recently in Botter Paris sculptural Caribbean couture polo.
Yeah.
I love that, Caribbean couture. That must have been a highlight. Is she a fan of the brand? And after such a post, your sales go sky high immediately?
Yeah. Well,
the polo. It's no, because what we produce, we make the quantity. We don't have overstock a lot. This is not endurable. This is not something we stand behind, and so all the little stock that all the stores had were immediately sold out. You know, and we see it immediately in the contacts we're getting, the messages we're getting from people in the industry.
Yeah, the stores, they need like restock. But that's very, I find that very interesting, you know, because sometimes we don't really feel, you know, this whole restocking thing we're not really into, because we really believe like, okay, we showed this for a season and it's an iconic polo that will always be introduced in a collection in a different way, in new fabrics of the collection. But at the same time, we really like the fact that some pieces stay quite exclusive, you know, and we just produce them until a limit, and then it's what it is, you know. We find that quite beautiful as well.
Yeah. Can you tell me the idea about the last Nina Ricci collection? Like short, because I have a lot of questions.
Okay. You mean the last pre-collection from Nina?
Yeah, from Nina Ricci, the last collection.
Yeah, well, that collection was very inspired on the aquatic world as well, you know, because Nina Ricci will always be like a combination of respecting the heritage of the house, us diving into the archive, but at the same time, what we are interested in as designers, like right now, because I think that's very important balance for a collection to be relevant. And we're very like, we are super how do you say, like, we are diving into the aquatic world right now in our lives, and it's really difficult to not then take Nina Ricci into it, you know. So this is something that we started in the pre-collection. It will carry on a bit in the main, but this will you will see in September.
We just showed a bit of more of ourselves in this collection.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I love the belts over the coats, like the floating swimming rings with the characters. And do you get carte blanche, or are there any commercial restrictions?
Yeah, it's a combination.
And especially for the pre-collection, you know.
Yeah.
It's always a combination. You get like there are pieces we need to fill, of course. They need to have, but designing wise, we get carte blanche.
Yeah, there's like a merchandise plan.
Okay, and your idea about these swimming rings with the characters was immediately received with enthusiasm, or do you sometimes have to convince people?
It's a battle, no? You always have to battle and you have to fight for your idea, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's getting like a heated battle, but sometimes you take it more politically, you know? It can be a battle, yeah.
Yeah. How do you incorporate sustainability within Botter and within Nina Ricci? Or Botter you already told, so
Yeah.
better into Nina Ricci. And is it challenging to introduce new methods or materials or mindsets in an established brand?
Yeah, we're working on it constantly. You know, we're pushing the teams, especially like right now on fabric researching, because I think on material there's so much to do. You know, there's so many beautiful ways of, you know, I don't know, only talking about vegetable leathers or, you know, different things that you can do with that. So
yeah, and when we just arrived in Nina Ricci, it was important, you know, it's a small thing, but for us it was really important to start doing it, start to change from the inside of the company. So we threw out all the plastic spoons, the plastic cups, everything that was plastic, the plastic garment bags, you know. And for us, it's not like
in production as well, you know.
production as well, yeah. And for us, it's not like a marketing tool, you know. For us, it's important that and even in this big company, you know, we have to start small because you have all these layers. So we did what we could do at the moment. And for us, it's important that you start from the inside out and then you can start working it from to the outside.
Has it always been a dream for you to creative directors of like a big house, a big French house?
Yes, it was a dream for us to start our own brand, and next to it, it was really a far dream to once be creative director of a French fashion of a French house. Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't expect it to be so fast, though.
No.
That's the.
Yeah, it was really fast.
Yeah.
In your work, we've seen protests, like, for example, the shaming of big oil company Shell because they attack the coral reef and the fishing industry. Do you become more fanatic now that you have a powerful voice at social media?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fanatic, and I think we try to be a bit more tactical with things.
Yeah. Bring with a bit more nuance, I think.
Yeah.
A bit more smart, because in the academy we are still screaming, but in a different kind of way. It's more pured out and it's more refined, I think.
I think for us, you know, back then it was very important to scream, and it's still, I mean, it still is, you know. I think as a designer you have to speak up about things that you see around you, that, you know, you pick up, but at the same time, I think for us now our priority lays more into the fact that we want to build this sustainable company and tell our story, how it could be, like how we see a company working. And for us this is much more interesting than, you know, keep on screaming and not really getting anywhere, you know. So we try to be a bit more tactful with that.
But with that being said, it can be that because we are quite emotional designers, it can be that maybe the next collection I want to scream about something again, you know. So now we are in a moment that we want to tell it more with nuance.
You've posted the mysterious message on Instagram: we rethink, get ready for change, air evolution in progress. What can we expect? Or is it still a secret?
Yeah, of course.
Always try.
Nice try, nice try.
Okay, so you can't give an answer. Okay, let me see if I still have a question to finish, and then that other people can have questions. Yeah, where do you see each other within 5 years?
Yeah, I see us doing the same, but on a bigger scale.
On a bigger scale, and
I see Botter more as an growing more and more as more as a foundation than as a fashion brand.
Yeah, we think fashion brand, you know, what we think, what a fashion brand can be is not only fashion, and especially in this time, you know, you cannot only do fashion and create garments just to create garments, you know. I think but we choose not to do it, and I think it's time also to give back, you know, to the world, because if we don't, if we keep on thinking about ourselves, you know, the world is ending, you know.
I think we have all seen the latest climate report now. It's very serious what's going on, and
do you have
think about the future.
Do you have any advice for like these young students here who maybe want to start their own brand?
Yeah, definitely. Well, this has nothing to do with sustainability or anything, but I think you should find something that you're like super obsessed about, you know, because it is quite a hard road, you know, to start your own fashion brand. And I'm not saying it to disencourage, not at all. It's really, it should be encouraging, because I think we should, if you want to, you should always go for it and follow your guts. But it's helpful if you're like obsessed about something, you know, if you find something that you can go on, you know, and be inspired on forever. Or it doesn't, I'm not saying like it should be one topic, but you should find your own thing, you know.
And it makes it even a bit more easy, you know. If you have something that you're obsessed about, if you have like a hard time, you can get out of that hard time to go on, you know, if you're obsessed about something.
Yeah. If people have any questions, you can add them in the Q&A box on Zoom, or raise your hand in the room. I already have a question in the Zoom room, and that is, how do you encourage consumers to use clothes as long as possible, so to minimize the climate impact?
I think it's really it's a combination of material choice. You know, you should if we talk about durability, it should be also like a material that's durable, and then it's all up to us what we propose. You know, so we propose something that we think is durable in terms of style, or so yeah, it's a real combination of those two, actually.
And I think what we propose is also seasonal. It's not seasonable now. It's not seasonal. It's something you can add to your wardrobe. It's like almost you're creating your own wardrobe, and it's something that in 3 years you can still wear. It's not out of the fashion
calendar, or
fashion calendar. What's in now, you know? It's
and definitely also how we treat our garments. You know, how we pack them, how we send them to the stores. You know, we are also very into like how do you say, like niet dat weet je wat dat sorry. Coaching, no, not coaching, but we're doing lessons to the stores that are selling butter, let's say. You know, we send them brand books, we teach them about butter, because it's very important for us that our garments are not being sold like it's just another brand. You know, we really need the people around, the store sellers, even our sales agent, everybody that's involved in butter, to tell our story, and just as passionate as we do. And I think when you get that across, and you see the garment in front of you, you feel the material, the textures, and then the finishing of the product, which we take care of a lot, you know, because we produce only in Europe. I think this is a combination of that. It feels timeless.
Timeless. Are there any questions here? Come on, not so timid. I know you have a question. Come on.
Hi, this is Christian. I was wondering, at the collage making, the contrasting of the shapes that you do so good, Lisi, what is like the thing that you're looking for? Is it always like a clash, or just something that is aesthetically pleasing? What is the process in that?
It's both, I think. You know, it's it's a process where I surround myself with sometimes hundreds of images, you know, and I'm sitting in the middle looking around, and then I make like sections of things, you know. Sometimes it's all archive pictures, then there's all like new pictures, then there's something that has nothing to do with fashion, and I just cut and combine them. And sometimes it's the aesthetic appeal that makes me think, okay, this one is finished, and sometimes it's the clash. So I think it's also not told in one collage, never. There's always like let's say I make 20 or 30 or sometimes 40 of them, and then that's a story on its own.
Next question. Come on. I'm sure you're all dying to ask something. Don't be scared. You can also stay there and then scream it to me, and then nobody will see you. Any questions? Yes? Oh, you were just waving. Okay, well then I'll take a question from online. What's your approach in choosing materials for the clothes? With which criteria, from where, how water resources are taken into account? It's a bit of a difficult question, and I hope you get it.
No, I get it totally. It's we have a lot of criteria. We only source materials from factories that are having certain certificates, and which is in Europe almost like obligatory. But definitely, like waste of water is it's a no-go for us. Recycled polyesters. Like right now, we're doing a lot of research into new materials, because all those recycled polyesters, we kind of know them. You have them in viscose as well, and there are so many options. But right now, at the moment, we're very into like new technologies, like people that are finding, for example, let's take for example the ocean waste plastic. Like why not take it out of the ocean, the plastic, and make that into a fabric? Just trying to take it one step further is what we're now super interested in.
What challenges do you face when creating products from upcycled materials?
It's always that you never know how it looks. That
Exactly.
in production, it's always different. So you have to educate also the buyers about the fact that what they see in the showroom might not be exactly the same as what they receive, and that you have to calculate that it's not always upcycling is not always cheap. It's because you take a lot of time into cleaning the material and making it like stitch ready, so a factory can work with it. So there's a lot of like care that needs to be put in those fabrics.
Yeah. I knew you. I was already looking at you. Come here. You can sit beside me.
I have another question. Hey, I'm back.
Nice.
Regarding sustainability and Fashion Week that's approaching, how do you guys view the future of Fashion Week in general? Like thinking about sustainability, like are there ways that we can think about making it more durable and less polluting, the effect of Fashion Week, or should we like skip it at all? How do you see the future of it?
Yeah, it's definitely true. I mean, Fashion Week is it's something that's not so sustainable. I mean, a lot of people fly in to see the collections, but yeah, right now we faced already like 2 or 3 seasons that people see the collections from a distance, and that are buyers buying from Zoom, and so there I feel like people are kind of like open to different approaches, but the difficult thing is that fashion will always be something tactile, because you wear it on your skin, you need to feel it. So yeah, it's a very difficult question, but I think it should change. It definitely should change, and I don't believe in those big productions anymore. I don't believe in throwing millions on a show. I don't think it's valuable. I don't think it's necessary neither. There are many ways of doing shows differently. For example, like reusing materials or reusing production materials that are thrown away by bigger brands. There are many ways of doing it differently, and yeah, you just need to research a lot.
I think it's time also to start doing it differently, But also for us, we are researching these kind of things also. How can we do it differently? But we don't have the answer, But it's already a thing. If you start being curious, in how can we do it differently and not like the old-fashioned way, you know?
How many collections do you make a year if you consider both of the houses?
With Butter 2, with Nina 4, so 6.
6, yeah.
Okay, also with the pre-collections?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and how do you balance being so busy with making time for creativity and creative thinking? Is it challenging to stay inspired?
At times.
At times it can be challenging to stay inspired, and this also, you know, because you have a lot to deal with. It's in certain periods, and it's not only about creating, you know, it's at some periods. It's also about managing a lot. You're managing teams, and it can get quite chaotic, you know. So you really have to be structured.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like structured in, okay, yeah, almost, you know, this, you have this period. Okay, now I have these 3 hours to think of to sketch. And this is not how it goes, you know, creatively. So you really have to be, you really have to be structured in planning wise, in meetings and these kind of things. So you have more time to be creative and to have more time for yourself to sketch and to just create.
And how has the COVID pandemic influenced your work and vision on fashion? Would you say that it is a good moment for creativity?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it depends on the person, of course. You know, because I totally understand there are many people, many students as well that are facing that they're working from home since I don't know when. And it's very difficult to stay inspired, you know, if you're not like not so much outside, you're not surrounded by your friends, or, you know, I can imagine it's difficult, but I think for us it's been very fruitful because it allowed us time, and time is basically everything that we needed to set up our choral nursery, to really plan out everything very structurally. So for us, time was very valuable.
And it was also important for us to take a step back now.
Yeah.
Because we were really in this chaotic, not chaotic, but really in this rapid, speedy vibe, you know, for 3 years.
Okay. Next question from online. How can we prove to consumers that sustainable products are worth the cost when we have so many fast fashion around?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think there are already some systems, you know, you have some systems where you can scan, like you can upload all your proof of the material, for example, that it has a certificate, that you produce in a place where they producing in a sustainable way, and you can see all of those things very transparently on, for example, on the hang tag. You know, these kind of things makes you. I mean, I would be very happy to see those things on a garment, you know, but that system is very early in the process still. So there are definitely ways, you know. I think you just have to be as transparent as you can be as a brand about that, and just show your consumers it.
Do you have any advice for young designers who want to start working with upcycled materials?
I think you just have to look in places where nobody's looking, you know.
Yeah, I think that's a smart one.
Yeah,
it's because especially now, you know, everybody looks at the same images, looks at the same things, go to the same
big warehouses, you know, where you have those piles of garments. And
so I think it's important that you start looking in different kind of directions. For upcycling, it's important, you know, that you find new ways of using new materials.
Yeah, and I mean, if you there are so many ways of upcycling, because there are also like stock fabrics from bigger houses, you know, that have like 200-300 meters, that for starting designers is more than enough, you know, to create a little production. And yeah, I think there are many ways that you just have to find what fits your aesthetic, what fits you as a person, and don't be too attached on what you see like designers right now doing and how they're doing it. Just find your own way, you know.
There's one more question coming in. Did the concept for sea life in your design come after fashion art school, or at what point when you launched your career?
No, I think it started in the yeah, when I was already in second year, first year, we already had these concepts. We because in first year in the Antwerp Fashion Academy, you have to present a lot of collections. You're doing small collections and this and that, and I was already inspired by this topic. It always came back.
What's first on your calendar now? After the baby.
Yeah,
after the baby. A small detail. In September, I guess, or not?
Yeah, it's
Yes.
Nina Ricci show.
Yeah,
Nina
the
Ricci
Nina
and Botte.
Ricci, yeah, and Butter. We're presenting Butter in September as well.
Okay. And
Yeah.
can we expect in the future Butter children wear?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Good idea.
Maybe,
Yeah.
Thank you.
So last question, because time's up. There must be somebody with a question. Yes, can you come here, please? Sis all.
It's more as like when you were students, how did you stay true to yourself when teachers try to push you in a certain direction? Because I try to stay true to myself, but sometimes I feel like I lose myself when they try to push me. So do you have like any advice for that?
Good question.
Very
Good question.
If you have more, you
I think what I experience is almost like good to lose yourself, because you start questioning, and it's not always good to be in this direction of you already found yourself. It's always good in the academy when you start questioning yourself and the way you work and what you believe in, because this is the way where you start like building and you start growing, I think. And I think then when you start, I think it's important to just stay true to yourself, but it's also really important to having this question that you had, what do you believe in? What do you stand for?
Yeah, maybe there's a way of like interpreting, like when a teacher is pushing you a certain way, that you can pick it up in your own way. Yeah, but it's very easy to say it, when you're not in the process and not in the middle of like, because you can completely, I remember, lose yourself in a project, and sometimes you don't even see from yourself that you're like stuck in a circle, so I would always stay open to what other people say, especially teachers, but if it doesn't feel good, try to find your own translation of it.
Yeah, because the teachers don't have the answer,
No.
They sometimes pretend to have, but
how were you as students? Quite stubborn and difficult for the teachers?
I was quite stubborn, yeah, but open. Yeah, I was quite stubborn but really open for critics, because I really respected all the teachers. It was Walter from Bangkok. I went to the academy almost because I saw Walter for the first time in a magazine, So it was a teacher that I really respected, and I really appreciated his opinion also. But I always transformed it in my own way, let's say.
Why did you choose for Antwerp?
Because it's really it's such a creative school, and there's room to be yourself, and it's like almost like this measure-made teaching, It's they really try to build you. They take you as a person and make you strong in what you are and what you would like to share.
But I remember also when you were there on like one of those days that you can see the school.
Yeah.
There was also something magical.
Yeah.
I think you really need to feel like a connection to the school.
Exactly.
Well,
I don't think you have to be in this school to be big or something, But when I first walked in that school, it was really magical. It was almost like you felt who was there in the room before you,
Yeah. And then the last question: are you still sometimes insecure or incredibly nervous for a show?
Yeah, of course. Always. Always.
Yeah, always.
Always.
There's
And-
always, oh,
No,
no.
you go.
There's always
But-
this point in the creation, which is a little bit towards the end, that you have seen everything so much, you know, and you're already, you know, preparing the next one, and then your head is a bit, you're losing your head for the current one, and then you look at it and then you get insecure, and then, you know, this is very normal process.
And I think it's important, you know, in your process to be insecure, you know, because for me, if I speak for myself, when I'm insecure, it means like I'm doing something completely new. And this is something that we always push for, you know, to go out of our comfort zone, to do something new. And that's really scary, you know?
Yeah. And do you have a ritual in the morning so that you feel safe, like always wear the same jeans or whatever?
Yeah.
No.
No.
No, not really. I have a lot of, no, not really, no.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time, and well, good
Thank
luck
you.
with all your work and your career, and especially, of course, the baby from all of us, for sure.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you, Fiona.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Fiona.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye bye.